It breaks my heart.
Collective leadership, coming together from the mayor to the council to the leaders of every department of this city is not happening.
You know, I've lived here for 50 years. You know, I haven't wanted to come down because I was afraid of what I could see, and it was a lot worse than I could even imagine.
People can't get to needed housing.
I'm very disappointed that there hasn't been more activity to the homeless camps.
You probably hear some frustration in my voice, and I am frustrated.
Our country should find a way to allow every individual, regardless of your race or your income status or your geography, to succeed and be a great American. And I believe the Democratic Party embraced those values that I believed in and made it possible for millions and millions of young Americans like myself become a productive citizen of this country.
Hi, I'm Wellington Webb, the former mayor of Denver, Colorado.
For decades, Denver has been the economic hub of the West. Today, business activity is more important than ever to solve Denver's budget crisis. Hi, I'm John Hickenlooper. I normally don't wear fancy suits, but now I'm running for mayor.
It means that money for important things like education, transportation, and healthcare keeps falling and falling.
It's easy. Visitors kick in a little, you pay nothing.
Denver wins big.
Vote yes on 1A. It's an easy choice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tonight I say to the people of America, to Democrats and Republicans and independents across this great land, enough. This moment, this election is our chance to keep, in the 21st century, the American promise alive.
Finally tonight, an ambitious plan to end homelessness in Denver.
Mayors have to be pragmatic. It comes with the job. And whether homelessness, a classic example. We went out and we measured how many homeless we had, how much were we spending, $40,000 per person per year on the chronically homeless to perpetuate lives of misery. We can spend less than half of that and put that person in a shelter, give them wraparound services and counseling and job training, get them into a job, and suddenly we're actually saving money at the same time we're doing something humanitarian.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we have the privilege of hearing from Jamie Van Leeuwen. I've known Jamie from way back when, at the time that he won an award for Urban Peak for the work that he's done with the youth on the streets of Denver. Homelessness is truly a serious issue in any community. And you know, it's a scary thing when you think that we are one serious illness or one job loss away from pretty much being on the street, and how to avoid that and how to help those people get back on their feet and become a productive member of our community. It's one of the challenges that the mayor took on and promised to end homelessness in 10 years.
It's an interesting time to be talking about homelessness. That 4 years ago we talked about what it would look like for us to take a plan and to take something that seemed to kind of be a little bit outrageous, the idea of ending homelessness, and putting it into implementation. 4 years later, we're talking about not just what the plan looks like, but the impact that issues like the economy has in terms of what it takes to end homelessness. Along came the mayor, and he said, well, I don't want to just move a person or two off the streets. I really want to end homelessness in 10 years. And he invited me to join the administration. When I was appointed to join the mayor's team, my friends had a great time with it. End homelessness in 10 years, they said. So that means in 10 years, if we find a homeless person, then you'll be fired. And
there's always a group on the periphery of any issue, especially an issue that's got serious amounts of money tied to the solution, that are going to wave their arms and say it's a hoax, it's phony.
Thank you so much for coming out this morning. My name is Benny Milliner. I am the Executive Director of Denver's Road Home. We want to thank you for joining us on this crystal clear, blue sky, Colorado day. And we're here this morning to reaffirm Denver's Road Home's commitment to the Better Way to Give campaign. In total, Denver's Road Home has raised more than $200,000 from the donation meters and additionally generated a lot of public awareness, which is key.
Listen, we know that there are 5,000 homeless people living in the city and county of Denver who desperately need our help. 21% of the homeless tell us they have mental health issues. 18% self-report that they have substance abuse issues. And for these reasons, every dollar donated through these meters will go to support mental health and substance abuse programming in the city and county of Denver. So we're going to tell you something. You're going to be able to identify these meters primarily because of their color. And they're blue for a reason. Number one, we selected blue because it's symbolic of our nature. Blue symbolizes strength, new beginnings, and optimism. All the qualities we know that a homeless person will need as they embrace their journey to self-sufficiency. Decline, no. Denver's plan to end homelessness is called Denver's Road Home. It's about creating an opportunity and helping people regain control of their lives and restoring hope. We recognize that 64% of the homeless in Metro Denver are people and families with children. 1/3 of the homeless are working, and the most commonly reported reasons for homelessness is the loss of jobs. We're encouraging people when they come through DIA security and they have spare change in their pocket or their purse to pull it out and to drop it here in our bucket. This will allow us to make a difference in the lives of those who are struggling with homelessness. I'm going to show you just how easy this is. I am honored to make the very first donation. Ta-da! Ain't no party like a PJ party, 'cause a PJ party don't stop. Oh! Ain't no party like a PJ party, 'cause a PJ party don't stop. Now join us. Ain't no party like a PJ party, 'cause a PJ one more time. Don't stop. Ain't no party like a PJ party, 'cause a PJ party don't stop. Woo! Congratulations.
And once again, Denver's Road Home Executive Director, the military sergeant who will bring you all to attention, Benny Milner!
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank all of you so much for being here. Let me welcome you to the Residence Inn and our great tradition, our 10-year tradition here of coming together to see what we can do to address the problem, the tragedy of homelessness in our community. I started my time as executive director at Denver's Road Home 3 years ago. As a matter of fact, 3 years ago, my coming out party was the PJ party. And it was my first day on the job. And it's been nothing but great expectations since then.
As I had mentioned, our homeless populations, where you have a tremendous workforce population that cannot afford the rents, where you have, as I mentioned, our senior population. Then you have a growing number of youth who are aging out of foster care, who don't have sustainable sort of housing plans, as well as mixed within that are sort of traditional chronic homeless, who over 13 years ago, then Mayor Hickenlooper had announced and created Denver's Road Home to address then a fundamentally different Denver. But now that population is far exceeded by the number of individuals and families who are experiencing homelessness who are working.
I, John W. Hickenlooper,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will say, and I apologize, I mean, it's very hard to breathe. This is going on now on the west steps of the Capitol. And it is almost, and there's more tear gas right here being deployed.
My take on Denver right now is that it is a city facing a significant set of challenges.
When I first saw the damage at the Capitol, it really was a sad moment. There's so much history that's embedded here in our capital. Colorado became a territory in 1861.
When I first saw all this, came down and walked around and saw the encampments growing in the park, the graffiti, the boarded up windows, everywhere, all around the city, and your heart drops.
If you're honest, you've got to acknowledge that we're slipping backwards. We're losing ground in this city. And it's unfortunate, and frankly, it's personally frustrating because many of the issues we're dealing with, except for the pandemic, were foreseeable because we talked about them.
You know, coming downtown is not going to happen for me or my family. I think bringing them downtown now is putting them in jeopardy. It's not pretty to look at, it's not safe.
Democrat, Republican, who cares about any of that? We're America, people come here all over the world, this is the greatest country on earth. There's a reason why everybody wants to come to this country, and that is a fact. But let me tell you, if they don't get a hold of this, those 100,000 people that work downtown are going to quit coming down here.
There's nothing more devastating than to come downtown and see what's happening.
I always felt safe here from the very beginning, since '98. I don't feel safe anymore, and that's sad. I wouldn't bring anyone down here for anything. It's just been a disaster for these companies economically, having to pay for all the services caused by this. And I heard, I believe it was a Denver council person made the statement, well, they're insured, insurance will cover it. Well, hell no, it will not. I was in shock. And then I just turned sad. I mean, I actually had tears in my eyes by the time I got down to 16th Street Mall. That's no lie. And then I got pissed. When we were down there working on the mall and I saw all these idiots. I mean, I don't care, white, black, you name it, they were down there. We saw homeless people get hit by these crowds, beaten in the middle of the street for no reason. They were out of order and no one was there to try and squash the events. It was free willy. It was sickening.
I served my country for this, and I own it. They've had their message up for over 7 weeks now. I'm sure everybody's read it. Everybody's read it 5 times over. It's time for me to have my memorial back. My plan of attack is to scrub it off by hand. Like you're seeing, they see me earning it, and they're gonna respect me enough because I'm sweating and scrubbing by hand that they're gonna respect me enough to just let me have my project. And I got a long way to go. These letters are recessed, so the paint, it's a rough cut and the paint won't come out.
This is the intersection of Broadway and 13th. This is where they went, Randy. You can see that on your screen.
A little over 2 hours into our live coverage with Stephen Tubbs on the ground at Civic Center Park, downtown Denver, as the night's round of protests continues.
These tear gas canisters are just flying everywhere. This guy just got hit with one. The guy right there, for those of you online, this guy's picking one up and he's throwing it back at cops.
I mean, just take a look at this, my God.
What I tell people now is instead of arguing with your neighbors or people who are Democrat or whatever, just get them in the car, promise them lunch or something like that, and drive downtown. You don't have to get out of your car. Just drive up and down Lincoln and drive down Broadway, and you'll see what we're talking about. Now, they're trying to clean up the Capitol right now, but it still is a disaster area. It's something we should never allow to happen to any of our major cities.
I didn't want to see the destruction. I didn't want to see the graffiti. I didn't want to see the broken windows and some of the civil unrest. But I appreciated and understood the need to march and the need to be visible and vocal and speak about the desire for change now.
It is surreal. It's utter disbelief, to be honest with you. I don't know how else to say it.
We called the non-emergency line and the emergency line to report drug deals, attempted assaults, and no black and whites showing up to investigate. So we went and walked over and knocked on the district door ourselves to finally be heard. We spoke to Sergeant Lucero. He told us in no uncertain terms, one, that this is a highly political issue. They're being told by the mayor to stand down. Before we left, he told us directly to our face that we are on our own. As residents of this area, we are on our own, and we are basically, I guess, have to protect ourselves.
Yes.
So, sweeping unhoused folks is actually against CDC guidelines that were issued. So I'm wondering why the city of Denver has chosen to go against the CDC guidelines for how to interact with these encampments. The CDC says, unless individual housing units are available, do not clear encampments during community spread of COVID-19.
And what you see are encampments that have not been cleared. When we have gone in, we've gone in to clean them from the public health threat.
What kind of message is it sending from the state to law-abiding citizens that this seemingly is tolerated by you and state government?
No, I have zero tolerance for unlawful behavior, and I hope that any perpetrators of unlawful behavior, whether it's defacing buildings or engaging in violence or crimes, They should be apprehended and they should be charged. It's not just a building. I mean, this is kind of it's a big part of our republic. It's who we are. It's our state capital. It's symbolic. It's important. And frankly, when it is desecrated, we all are desecrated, and democracy is desecrated. I thought Denver voters voted for the camping ban, but you know, it seems like maybe they didn't. I don't follow Denver politics, but I mean, you know, this is something that's up to voters. If cities want, they can have tents on their streets.
But the
If
city
cities
says
don't
that
want,
it's state
they don't.
property. The city says it's state
Oh,
property.
well, they are welcome to come onto our property and remove tents. We not only welcome, I would encourage and invite anybody, if there are anybody who is squatting on state property, we encourage anybody, law enforcement agency, of course, to come remove them. I've asked the mayor and the city council, and I really want the city council to act, and the mayor, but they've, I mean, you know, obviously we've been asking them for weeks.
Every city in the country looks like Denver right now.
And until we as a society say this is not acceptable, and we are not going to allow camps and I hate to use this word, but anarchy on our streets, it will continue to happen.
For us, it's a bunch of I told you so, because this nation's been in a housing crisis for decades, and we've been talking to local leaders since our inception almost 8 years ago that you can't just continue to build luxury housing, not build budget housing, and not to expect something bad to happen, especially if there's some sort of stressor. The philosophy of homelessness in America for the past 35 years has been to warehouse and disperse. Investors would rather keep a building empty if they think that they can make money on it through equity or whatever, versus like, hey, if I lowered the rent, everybody'd be off the streets and I'd have a renter.
How long have you been homeless? 15 years. Is every day a struggle?
I really haven't talked to my family in a while. You know.
Is there anything we can do for you?
Pray.
How old are you?
Old enough to know better.
A number of these people choose this lifestyle, and I feel that they do because I was one of those people. I am an individual in recovery from the disease of addiction, and my consequence was being homeless for 2 years. Until there is a level of accountability that goes along with the help that's being provided, I believe that you're going to continue to see the systemic issue. For as long as I, suffering from addiction, can avoid any type of personal responsibility or accountability, and I'm going to be housed or fed, have my medical needs taken care of, I'm going to continue to live that lifestyle.
Rather than just like, okay, your life blew up, here's a place to stay, we have assumed, oh, you must have drug and alcohol issues. Now, it's prevalent out there just like it is in the rest of society, but it's a minority. So it's about 40% of folks struggle with some sort of drug and alcohol issues, which means 60% don't, which is most of the homeless community.
It is an addiction issue. While we want to make it a housing issue, we want to make it a jobs issue, we want to make it a mental health issue, 70% of the people that are homeless because of the disease of addiction.
I see this as a problem stemming from progressive liberal control over the inner cities for 60 to 70 years. This didn't just start this election cycle. It's been going on for a long time. And I think the governor and the mayor and the city council and the city managers and even Republicans who are not speaking out about this as the problem. We have to speak out.
I want to share that we are not oblivious to the encampments that have sprung up around our city. These are of great concern. They have the potential to be a slate of very serious public health risks for people in them and the neighbors around them. As a city, we are working to strategize how we can continue to address these encampments. But the bottom line is they have become a public health threat, and we're going to have to clean them up in order to keep everyone safe and healthy.
The leadership in the city is absent completely, I would say, from top to bottom. We have obviously a strong mayor system here, and so we look to the mayor for that level of leadership, for a reallocation of resources to address the needs not just of homelessness, but of people across the board.
Homelessness, the lack of affordable housing, congestion, underlying problems with gentrification and the lack of people making a living wage, distrust with the police.
I hope everyone who's against the police, when they need help, the cops don't come out.
All of those were themes and issues that many of us as candidates talked about needing to address, and this administration has done nothing.
Some of these encampments have, quite frankly, have spiraled into acute public health threats. And there's a great concern when you are allowing feces and needles and other unsanitary conditions to exist, which we have found in some of these encampments. We have to abate them.
They need help, and the governor and Hancock need to change some things up instead of creating chaos, animosity, hatred, and everything towards everybody else. That's getting nobody anywhere.
Since the election, I think the administration has sort of gone back into hiding. They were not visible for many, many months, and you even saw newspaper articles written about, where's the mayor? What's happening? Why isn't anybody addressing issues? They weren't tackling homelessness. They weren't tackling the lack of affordable housing.
COVID-19 has impacted the way we do a lot of things, including how the city of Denver protects and shelters its most vulnerable residents. Denver's Department of Housing Stability, or HOST, responded to this pandemic by leveraging partnerships with service providers to offer around-the-clock shelter at existing facilities, new auxiliary shelters, and hotel rooms. Across these facilities, we are offering shelter, medical support, and other services to more than 2,200 men and women each night. Here's what you need to know about how HOST is working to change the system and outcomes for people experiencing homelessness.
I would ask you to reframe how you think about the issue of homelessness. Homelessness is a context that people are living in. It is not who a person is. Hi, I'm Britta Fisher, and I'm the Executive Director of the Department of Housing Stability for the City and County of Denver. So here in the City and County of Denver, we look at housing across a whole continuum, from people experiencing homelessness to people at about the median income or the middle point of incomes in our community. More than 100,000 of our households that are under the median income are struggling with their housing costs. They're feeling cost burdened. That means they're spending more than 30% of their income on housing. What we also see is that about 46,000 plus households are spending more than half their income on housing. And when you're cost burdened or severely housing cost burdened, it's hard to afford other necessities, things like medicine and food and transportation. And so we know that here in Denver, we want people to be able to afford and have a healthy and successful and connected life across our housing and income continuum.
You know, I just believe every single person in Denver deserves to be healthy, housed, and connected.
We saw these things coming. We were already seeing problems bubble up economically, with the homeless, with costs of housing, with so many things in our community changing so quickly and really being driven by a development, you know, go as big and as fast as you can in the community.
There's a part of me that's relieved that we're finally addressing this, because what I saw were people living in squalor, garbage everywhere, human waste, needles, a blasé attitude from those that were living in that environment.
We are trying to help folks who are homeless. We're trying to help the community around them. And we're going in with great risk as public officials to clean the sites up. It's easy to demonize the government when we are trying to do what we can to create balance, give access to services, and to help folks. But in reality, that's what we're trying to do. We are not trying to hurt our neighbors who are experiencing homelessness. And I want people to hear that loud and clear.
There wasn't fear. There was very minimal anger. It was, all right, we've been here before. Let's find our next home. And that breaks my heart. When do we as a society decide it's not okay for the rights of some people to supersede the rights of other people?
When it comes to city council, it's split. Some folks just ignore the whole thing. They hope it goes away. And as they ignore it, it gets worse. Others are trying to work towards better options. Some of them are trying to do it too slowly. Like, no, man, you just gotta, if this is where we're going, let's do it. Let's not take 50 million steps to do things that we need to do. We can do it again. The money's there. So it's just a matter of political will in order to do it.
So I got kicked on the side of the head right here, and I didn't get punched here. The kick to the side of the head blackened my eye, and so I was pulling off somebody who was kicking another person that was down. I got pushed down, and that's when I got kicked and punched. And so it's just part of the sacrifice that you're willing to make to protect somebody.
FTP! FTP! FTP!
Police started firing explosives in the street, and people on the other side, on the BLM side, started throwing water bottles and rocks at the police. The police then opened fire.
Here comes another tear gas canister right here, and you can see that these are being tossed from the dark into this portion of Civic Center Park.
I was standing there with my hands in my pockets and I got shot with a rubber bullet, and that really hurt. Left about a football-sized bruise on my chest.
I just find it hard to believe that there was not a better way to handle tonight. They knew this was coming, and yet seemingly didn't do anything more proactive than they did last night. And it's just surprising to me, and I gotta say I'm disappointed, because I've seen in a city that I love a lot of stuff being condoned, allowed, that quite frankly in any city in this country should not happen. There is not a police officer in sight right now.
Yo, fuck you guys!
And I just got nailed with tear gas. Oh my God.
Anybody need water?
And here they come right now. Safest place that I've found is behind a tree.
Right? But watch out, they're coming there and here.
Okay, thank you.
You need to watch out.
Okay, thank you. In 31 years of news, I have never covered any type of civil unrest or anything like this where there was not, you can hear a big grenade, flash grenade there. I've never covered anything like this where where there is no public announcement or through a bullhorn from the police that the crowd must clear, disperse the area.
I believe the protesters have a right to protest, but not to destroy. Get your word out. Start a dialogue. Don't destroy, because to me it's hurtful. Everything that you're doing against our city, I'm missing the message because I see the destruction.
They see the boards and it's just, it says closed and it says danger. This is Capitol Hill Books, and the store has been here 39 years. It was at night that things got really bad, and they got bad for the neighborhood. I just don't think we're getting a response from the police. And the one policeman who showed up basically said, "What do you want me to do?" I love Denver, and I appreciate it, and it's been very good to me. I just can't let them win.
Oh, it's sad, and there's people that want to point fingers at one particular individual or another. My frustration is I think this is what we achieve, or what we receive, when there's one-party control of all three branches of government at multiple levels. We've seen recently the Denver police even retreat out of public events that had permits right here in the city of Denver. So when we see the destruction here at the Capitol, when we see the tent city across the street, that's on state property. Well, okay, either allow the state patrol to arrest and then prosecute through either the Attorney General or some court, or Denver take responsibility for it.
I would like to see some people get arrested. I would like to see them put some charges on these people, because until they do that, it's just going to continue to escalate.
Prosecute people. I understand that the curfew violations were just dismissed. Okay, why have a curfew if you're just going to dismiss those charges?
I have the deepest sympathies for anybody that was injured as a result of this. It's unfortunate. This is certainly not how peaceful protests are supposed to play out. It's disappointing that anybody would resort to violence.
Was there an order from the mayor to you that there was not to be any kind of engagement?
Not at all. Our officers were ready to intervene if anything became violent, and that's exactly what they did. They stepped in and took action when required.
Chief, my respect for you, but I
Yes,
saw
sir.
people getting pummeled, kicked on the ground, gashes in their foreheads. This protest group, with all due respect, sir, your officers did nothing right in front of me. Nothing. Tonight, the city of Denver should be ashamed if the edicts came down from City Hall that this is what we were going to be allowing, and it is why this has gone on this long.
Some adults need to step into the room, step into the discussion. Where are the leaders? Where are the Democrat leaders and Republican leaders?
If you don't acknowledge you have a problem, you're never going to solve it. And this administration was so busy saying everything's good. Look, we're the second fastest gentrifying city in America. That's got to be good. Well, no, it isn't.
I feel like there's silence across the board from anybody in this community to talk about what tomorrow and the next year and the next 5 years looks like for this city.
Greedy people bought them, and they owed favors to the greedy people that bought them.
We can do better, and we have to do better, and we want to do better. Thank you all.
This is becoming extremely bad all over. And where I come from is, for about 25 years, I was a drug addict, and I lived on the streets. I lived in that park, I lived on Broadway, I lived in dumpsters. I was a heroin addict, coke addict, meth addict, and had been to prison twice.
If you look at the failure of leadership to act, we knew we had a homelessness problem last year and a half, because we talked about it at every candidate forum. Nothing was done.
The way I describe Denver, actually, after walking around the Capitol, you know, it's a little bit like a war zone. I don't feel safe. I see all this stuff that says fuck the police, fuck Whitey, windows boarded up, encampments everywhere. I don't feel safe.
This is Denver, Colorado, 2020. And it is just a shame.
Oh shit. Sadness for the world, man. The world is just chaos, and it's getting worse by the day. That's what I think about most of the time when I'm sitting here scrubbing. How could this possibly even happen?
There's just no end in sight, in my opinion.
I think there will be a regeneration. I just don't know how long it'll take.
Is Denver in decay? I would say it's on his way there, but it is not completely in decay, and it's not beyond hope.
I got a list of 15 drug programs right now that you can go to for free and start your life over. What's the problem?
I really don't know what the solution is, to be honest with you. And that's sad.
I'm not going to be the one to give up.
Homelessness ends with a house. It's as simple as that. We've done it before in this country.
What you get is the reality, and if we don't address the challenges of everybody in this community, we will continue to see decay. We will continue to see more people on the streets. We will continue to see more people losing their homes and their businesses, more people leaving the city, and creating more long-term challenges for Denver.
Denver has been in decay for a long time. This is just now the heightened awareness that we're seeing. This documentary and others need to be done to continually shine this light on what's happening in Aurora, what's happening here in Denver, and this is going to spill over to the suburbs. If we don't stop it now, it's coming to your neighborhood.
La 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la, la 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 la. I love America, land of the free. I love what you do for me, sweet lady liberty. We come from near, we come from far, from generations on and on, seeking a better life under your constitution. Where the rich and the poor have equal rights, and every race and creed are here to fight human rights. I love America, land of the free. I love what you do for me, sweet lady liberty. La 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la, la la la. I love this country, yeah. America, I love you so. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. From Genesis to Revelation, there is no confusion. No, 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 no. Injustice of any kind has no room in America. Terror of any kind has no room in America. This is a land of opportunity. This goes for everybody. La 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. I love this country, yeah. America, love you so. Every man is your brother until they choose to be your worst enemy. Every woman your sister until she proves you from a different species. Forgive once, forgive twice. Third time live that community. Why don't we get along? Why can't we get along? Yes I can, yes you can, yes we can. I love America, land of the free. I love what you do for me, sweet lady liberty. I love this country, land of the free. America, love you so.